Hi, my name is Lance Cole, and this channel is called Spanged Life. This channel covers my 6 years of homelessness, my 30 plus years of alcoholism, and my recovery, the process of recovery that I've been through, and what worked for me, and the process of recovery that I'm still going through. It's been at least a year since I posted a video, and a lot has gone on in that year. First off, for new people, Spange, Spange, is a made up word that us homeless people use. It means spare change. It's a combination of the words spare change. So if we're going to go out asking for change, we tell our friends we're going spanging, or what you got to go out spange. So it's a Spanged Life because my life has changed. It's a play on words. It's fun. Ha ha. Anyways, a lot has gone on in the year. The last videos, I was going through a lot of relationship issues, and it was serious and it was very ugly and toxic. My mother was given 5 weeks to live in North Carolina, and she's 86 years old. All 110 pounds of her. And And I had some health concerns. I have a mass growing on my liver, and I had an MRI done. And thankfully, all of these things have been resolved or been dealt with. And the most important thing is that all during that crisis, all those crises combined, which in recovery, in rehab programs, of which I've been through 6 rehab programs, of five. I'm sorry, one was outpatient. Anyways, um, they tell you, all of these things to watch out for in recovery. When you are tested the most, when you have a major relationship problem, which is disrupting your life, when you have financial problems, when you have a housing problem, which I was facing because I had to leave where I was living with the girlfriend, the woman that I moved in off the streets straight into a relationship with her, which is what they say never to do in recovery. But I did everything in my recovery, or a lot of things in my recovery that they tell you in traditional programs never to do. Um, so to cover a few things, my mom got through her health concern, and she had a mini stroke, and then she was very frail. She had a really bad year of the problems with her breathing and her lungs and things, her heart also. So she's got a good bill of health right now. She doesn't have as much energy as she used to have. Has lost a little bit because of her stroke in recall and pulling up certain words and things, but we should be thankful, as I'm thankful every day for my recovery and my sober life. I'm thankful that she's gotten through that stroke with as little damage as possible. It seems. Housing. I have my very own apartment. You can see behind me. I've got furnishings. That was really difficult for me to go. I went from straight off of the street right into a house full of everything this woman owned in her relationship where I met her. She was just getting out of a divorce of in all places. I met her in the psych ward, behavioral health unit, they call it, Mercy Hospital here in Springfield. And she saw me, and she saw me sober, and she saw that I was rational. And she said, "Well, maybe this guy is someone that I can be with." And so, again, against all advice from every traditional program, I got straight into a relationship with a woman. And of all people, she was Wiccan. So she studies the religion of Wicca. And she's actually a great gal. She just loves the outdoors. So you could almost call her a tree hugger. We just have different goals in our lives at this point in our lives. So, luckily, we actually are now still friends. I've learned a lot in my life, and I've learned how to let go of hostility and to see what is temporary hostility and what is causing that. So much clearly, I can see things so much clearly now that I'm sober, and can analyze why I respond the way I do, and why I think the thoughts that I do, why my emotions are telling me what they're telling me. All that to say, for you newcomers, I'm going to talk about the tough life that I lived, and some of the things that I endured, and some of the trauma that I experienced. Some at the hands of other homeless people, some at the hands of law enforcement. Um, and when we talk about the psychological damage that it did to me, and I know it does to a lot of people, it's to be homeless and then to have to beg for money. No one ever grows up and says, I want to be, or, when they're a child, says, when I grow up, I want to be a bum. I want to live on the streets and drink myself to death and beg people for money and do nothing in return. No one says that. But unfortunately, I became an alcoholic very early in my life, started drinking and almost failed high school. Um, and and I struggled to hold a good job for a while. Never in my life was I fired for drinking, but every job I was fired from, which is about three, I was fired because of. Sorry, I can't stay still. I was fired because of my drinking was affecting my performance at work, and I was acting out at work and such things. So I did a lot of stupid things when I was an alcoholic, and I had a good job with JB Hunt. I was an appliance installer. I got that job through a temp agency. The company liked me so much they made a spot in our local office for me. I did not drive trucks for them, but I installed appliances, stoves, and washers and dryers under the cabinet of microwaves, things like that. Um, and I love that job, but that job gave me money and it gave me freedom, and I had a girlfriend at the time that I thought, because I had a past, it had a history when we were in high school together as friends. I didn't realize that she was mentally not as stable as I would hope. So I was very, very understand the relationships I got into is because I was desperate. Um, and I was overlooking all of the red flags, and because I was like such a train wreck, that who is going to want to be with me? And actually, for a period in my 30s, basically most of my 30s, I barely dated at all. I was so embarrassed by my living situation. I was so embarrassed by my drinking. And I had multiple DUIs in California. I grew up in California, San Francisco Bay Area. Then I moved to Fresno when I was 30, just north of Fresno, in Madera Ranchos when I was 30 years old, and spent 10 years there and wasting my life drinking. I did some wonderful things when I was there. I had some good job experiences, but I barely dated, and I checked out of the social life scene, and my only encounters were, people you meet at the bar, and those were not serious relationships. And I was just thankful anyone that I did run into could deal with this mess that I am, and that I was a terrible mess. Excuse me. So, when I was working with JB Hunt, my drinking accelerated because of the emotional stress I was enduring dealing with the relationship, the girlfriend I was with. She tested my patience. She tested a lot about me, and I had never experienced someone that with untreated bipolar, and that was a severe case of bipolar as that. My drinking went crazy, and I ended up getting fired because my performance sucked so bad. At one point, I had told a customer in Kansas City, because I had been drinking before I went to work. I was helping out in Kansas City. I told one customer to go fuck himself. I mean, he was a prick. I'm sorry, he was a jerk. He was a real jerk, but I still was not professional. And I always like to pride myself on my professionalism when I deal with customers. In the first job I ever had in my life, I worked 5 years. I started as a junior high school. I worked at a gun shop. And it was very hard for me to earn respect from my customers because I was 17 years old selling guns. And I knew so much about guns that the other salesmen that had years of knowledge on me, or years of age in general on me, that they would tell customers to come to me, and the customers would say, "Oh man, that guy, that young kid, what will he know?" Anyways, I pride myself in my professionalism, and so I was not very professional. And I was drinking before work at JB Hunt. I was drinking during work if I could get away from it when I was working in the warehouse. And finally, I lost my job, and then I lost my crazy girlfriend, and then and so she was half of my rent. So I didn't have income, and I was already bad with money. And I lost my apartment. I lost my job, lost my girlfriend, lost my apartment, lived in my truck for a little bit, and then in a period of 1 month in my pickup truck because that's what I was living in, and I was a raging alcoholic. Um, I got 3 DUIs in 1 month. Two of them in Springfield and one of them in the city of Battlefield. And that one was finally dismissed. That's in a video from the past, and maybe we'll talk about that in the future. It's not important now, but I did 6 months in jail for my 2 DUIs in 1 month, and I did that in Cedar County. I will say, I know we're running high on time. I'm going to try to start these new videos to be about 15 minutes and see if that gets more people watching. And please do share these videos because I'm going to get more into how there is hope for these people that are in your life. If you know someone in your family, if you know someone that's a great friend, if it's your wife, it's your husband, your daughter, your son, whatever, that struggles with addiction, just know that there is always hope. I was a terrible, terrible alcoholic. The first thing I did in the morning, besides have to urinate, is reach for a drink and reach for my cigarettes. And I didn't start smoking until I was homeless. Anyways, share these videos. And this is also, these videos are for the addicts out there. Please see me and understand that I had given up on my ability to quit drinking. My whole family had given up on my ability to quit drinking. I went to rehab one time and I was so happy and so strong and so proud of myself. I did 30 days and I came back. The van dropped me off in Springfield, about 100 yards away from the woods where I had camped before. And I walked right into those woods, walked right up to where I had camped before, and someone else was camping there. It was a young couple that were very serious homeless people. They looked pretty rugged. And another guy that I knew from the streets that hadn't seen me in a while, he asked where I was. I told him I had been in rehab for a month. And the guy in the tent sitting on his butt, he said, "You just got out of rehab?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, I did it." And he handed me a big ass gallon bottle of vodka. And so within half an hour of getting dropped out of the van, I was already feeling pretty damn drunk. I'm here to tell everyone out there with a loved one or with someone they care about in any way that is suffering from addiction, right? Early signs of addiction. The earlier you catch it, the better. The earlier, the better. The medication I used before the end of this video, I used a medication called naltrexone. And naltrexone is an anti-drinking drug that blocks the dopamine receptors in your head. So basically, you can drink alcohol, but you won't feel the pleasure effects from your alcohol. So you'll drink it, you can become inebriated, you can become uncoordinated, or you will slur your speech. You will just become drunk, but you will just feel very weird. And also, as an added bonus, because I tried it, you will puke your guts out after you drink a little bit. It's not like the first generation drug, antabuse, which if you even used aftershave with alcohol, you felt like you wanted to die, like every cell in your body was going to die. You'll get sick to your stomach, you'll vomit everything. If you drink through that, which it's possible to do, I don't recommend it, you will just feel very strange. And if all you're chasing is an altered feeling, it's a very expensive and very strange way to do it, but you will get that altered feeling. Naltrexone is the pill form. You take that initially after you've been sober from alcohol for about a week to make sure that you don't go into withdrawals automatically. It also works for opiates. So anyone out there with someone that's a heroin junkie friend or someone that pops narcotic pills, unfortunately, it doesn't work for methamphetamines. I tested on naltrexone the pill form, and then I took a shot, which is the same medication, and called Vivitrol, which it lasts for about a month in your system, and it does work. It also helps your brain, as I was told, by people that were not doctors, but were more educated than myself on the subject. that it helps your brain rewire and restructure itself and heal itself from the years of abuse in twice the time, or half the time, in half of the time that it would normally take to repair itself from from the abusive years of addiction. So I used that shot for about a year, and it was paid for by a government state grant program called C-Star, and the shots cost about $1,200 a piece, I think. So it's like $15,000 worth of medication for a year, roughly. Um, but I did not use AA. I went to plenty of AA meetings before I ever got sober, but I did not use AA. I regret not using AA. I did not want to use the program, though I do recommend it if that works for you. If in recovery, use whatever tool works for you. Make sure that you use every tool that you can until you find the right combination of tools that works for you. The tools are out there. You have to find it in yourself, and you have to finally decide that enough is enough, that you're tired. So watch my videos, because I'm going to show you. I had basically given up on the chance of getting off the street. I basically thought I was going to die on the street. Doesn't mean I didn't have hope that somehow there was going to be rescue, but or some way to get off the street. But just know that there is a way, that there is hope, and there is a future for you. Um, I've been sober, got sober Halloween. Yeah, Halloween of 2021. Oh, I'm a kid from the 70s, so 2019. So I got sober Halloween of 2021. I just hit my 3-year anniversary, and Halloween's also my birthday. Yay me, you know. But I got off the street on August 1st of 2021, and I moved in with a woman who had a house full of stuff and a head full of baggage. Apparently, I found out she'd been married like 4 times already, twice to the same guy. But again, here's I'm going to write a book about my experiences, because there are many and they are wild. But I'm going to write a book, and I'm not sure the main title. It was going to be A Spanged Life. Now I just might title it Boom. But the subtitle is going to be Don't Look for Love in the Psych Ward. Um, if you'll notice too, okay. Let's end this video at that, and then I'll start to talk about the next video about some of the psychological effects, some of the situations I was in, and what it was like to be um, homeless in a big city like Springfield. It's not a huge city, but a big city. And with meth and heroin rampant, all the fentanyl. I've known people die on the streets. Friends of mine died on the streets, whether it was the weather or drugs, or one guy had a stroke. A great friend of mine had a stroke, went in the hospital, never came out. So it was a trying time. I will say this in my defense: I do smoke. In all my honesty, I do smoke marijuana. I suffer from PTSD, and we'll go over that in the next videos. I suffer from PTSD from the violence in the years on the street, and it helps me. I'm on 3 different kinds of anti-anxiety and antidepressant medications. I suffer from major depressive disorder, and I'm mildly ADD. So if you see me jumping around, but I smoke marijuana. It helps to deal with my severe anxiety. I got what they call hypervigilance. Every time I go in public, I'm always on guard, watching everyone, calculating the level of threat that everyone around me poses to me. And then I cannot let people get behind me. I feel very unnerved. I don't like to be sitting with people standing around me. I'm watching everyone all the time, judging. Are they a danger? They're moving away. They're less a danger. Where's the exit? Anyway, so I smoke a little pot, and during the videos I made before, we're almost at 20 minutes. We're trying to cut it. The videos I made before, I was smoking a lot of pot, and I won't be smoking any pot visually in these videos, because I don't want that to be a trigger for anyone that has got addiction issues, and maybe that's part of their addiction. I do use it, in my therapist knows about it. We'll talk about therapy too, because I do see a therapist. I saw a therapist for a year and stopped going to her because I thought I was getting nowhere. I finally had so much anxiety and so much going on in my head that I started seeing a therapist. I absolutely love him. Um, recommend you see a therapist, and even if you have someone in your family that's going through it, it's causing you anxiety. If it's someone you love, go see a therapist, go talk about them. They can advise you. But I mean, and I am dealing with so much ugly mess. I started to say earlier, this scar, when I talk, the reason my lip is higher is because I got punched in the face more than once, but that time more than once, but more than once all over. So let's cut this video short, and then we'll start to go into some of like the daily life stuff. I might make a couple more videos tonight. I'm really feeling energized. They switched my meds up and doubled one of my doses. I'm not going to be whatever. I take Wellbutrin. And so I take Wellbutrin, they doubled my dose, and I noticed an improvement almost instantly. The energy I had and the mood improvement I have when I take it in the morning. So don't be afraid to take medications, especially if you had suffered addiction. Your body's been deprived of nutrition, and sometimes the drugs and the alcohol can leach vitamins and minerals from your body. Anyways, let's cut this short. Thank you for watching. Please do share this, because the more people that see this, and the more people that do share it, someone's going to be reaching, it will reach someone out there. And when we reach someone and we can save one life, that's all we can ever endeavor to do. Save one life. So please share these videos if you like them. Encourage your friends to watch them. Or if you know anyone that's in a situation where someone is struggling with addiction in their circle or in your circle, please do encourage them to watch these videos and watch some of the older ones. The older ones were very raw. There was a lot I had pent up and a lot I had to process because I really don't have anyone to talk to. I'm a very solo person. I spend a lot of time by myself. But I had a lot to get out. I'm going to be trying to be much more structured with the videos from now on, and try to address one topic at a time. So, anyways, let's move on, and hopefully there's another video for you guys to see soon. Thank you for watching. Please do share and subscribe to my videos. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this and being interested in my experiences.